In this lesson, we're going to finish off our elevator. Alright, so we have our elevator door opening as soon as we touch this volume. And then when we go into the elevator and we press the F key, the elevator goes up and it gets to the top. Now we want to make it to where once we get to the top, the elevator doors open to allow the player to go in or out. And then if the player is still inside of the elevator and they press the F key once they get to the top, then the elevator will go ahead and go back down. Okay, so let's go ahead and take care of that. Let's go into our blueprint. And actually, you know what, let's go ahead and go into our blueprint. We want to open the doors whenever the animation of the elevator has finished. Okay, so to take care of this, we're going to use the Matinee Actor Cinematic Finished. Okay, so let's go ahead and select the elevator cinematic. Okay, or matinee object, excuse me. And we are going to right click and we're going to add a matinee controller for the elevator. Once that has finished playing, meaning once it's got to the top, we want it to do something. Well, we want it to go ahead and play the doors opening. So let's select our matinee for the doors and let's right click and say play. And it's going to use the elevator door matinee actor, and it's going to go ahead and just play that. Now once that has played, it's going to keep those open. Alright, so let's go ahead and test this out. And let's hit play. We'll wait for our cinematic. Then we're going to go inside. Doors open. Let's go inside here. They close behind us automatically because of the trigger on the other side. Let's hit F. We now go to the top and we should see our doors open. And there we go. Now those are going to stay open for right now. We could go outside of them and they're going to go ahead and just stay that way. Okay. So now we want to be able to press the F key once we're inside, and we want that to close the doors and then play the elevator going down. So the way that we go about doing this is we come in and see that has been played there once that has finished. So we need to create a new trigger at the top of our elevator. And so I'm going to come in, I'm going to take this trigger right here. If I hold down Alt and I drag that up, that's going to create a duplicate. And I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to pull it up to where it's pretty much flush with the floor there. Okay. So something like that. So once that is in position, the player should be within that, of course, no problem. And then we're going to take that, and we're going to go into our level blueprint, and we're going to right click, and we're going to add an event using that trigger volume, collision, on actor begin overlap. Once that has begun, we're going to go ahead and tell it to allow us to have input again. Okay, so I want to enable the input. Now I can't plug that into these already. Okay, but I can select all of these together, hit Control W, and duplicate those so that way it goes a little bit faster. And so I'm going to plug this right here, and I'm going to say once we have touched that, enable the input again, and then once we've not or gone outside of that, we want to disable the input. So we still have that trigger volume selected. Let's right click, do another event, but this time we're going to do end overlap, and then we'll plug that in here. Okay, compile. And let's go in, let's hit play. And we'll just test it out. And again, we're testing as we go. Now, we're not going to create an elevator that is completely smart. I'm certain that we're going to get into some issues with like maybe some logic or things like that. That's not the point of it. I just want to show you how to begin controlling objects like this using Matinee. So let's hit F. It goes up into the air. The door should open. Okay, and it's going to stay open. All right, so nothing wrong with that. If we go back inside here, and if I hit F, it should allow me to go back down. Now, what we had before was play, but what we want it to do is we actually want it to reverse the animation of the elevator and the doors. So let's go back into our blueprint, and you can see that that has been enabled and disabled. With the F key, okay, you can see that it's going to play that. However, we can't plug in another node. We can't tell it once it's released, go ahead and just use a reverse on that. So what we have to do is we have to use a branch, and we'll actually have to create a variable in this case. So what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll create a new variable, and let's call this let's see, elevator. It's going to be a terrible name for it, but I'm going to say elevator top. So meaning if it's at the top. We're going to make sure that that's editable so we can see it, and everything else should be good. Let's go ahead and compile so that way we can set its default value. We want it to be false by default. And then I'm going to actually right click and type in branch. Now a branch is a flow control node, and this is kind of like an if statement, if you will. So it checks to see if something is true. If it is true, it's going to do this. If it's not true, it's going to do that. So once it's released, once we press that F key, we're going to come into this branch and we're going to check to see if something is true or if it's false. If the elevator is at the top, if that is true, we want it to play the reverse. Okay, let's take our elevator top, let's drag that in here, and let's simply get the variable of that, and we're going to plug that in here to the condition. So if elevator top is false, we want it to play, so it's going to play to the top. Then if it is true, we want it to reverse the animation of the elevator. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll say, all right, let's go into our scene here. Let's select the elevator matinee. We'll go ahead and we'll right click and we'll type in reverse. Oops, let's try that one more time. Right click and reverse. There we go. And on the reverse, let me pull this up here. Try to get these situated a little bit better. So on the reverse, it's going to play that. All right. So it's going to reverse that. Now, the doors are going to stay open if we press that F key again. And so we want to make sure that we play the reverse of the doors as well. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the reverse of the elevator. I'm going to pull it over here, but let's select the matinee for the doors. And let's right click and type in reverse again. And it's going to use those instead this time. Pull that down here. Let's kind of clean this up a little bit. I'm going to plug this into the reverse for the door, and then it's going to go right into the reverse of the elevator. Now, I don't want to immediately start playing the reverse of the elevator, okay? Because what that will do is it's going to start going down, and the doors are still going to be trying to close. And so that could be a problem. So we need to delay from the doors to the elevator playing its animation. So we're going to right click and we're going to type in delay, and we're going to plug this in here. Now on the delay, let me go ahead and pull this over. We're starting to get into some other areas here. Let me move some things over. There we go. Now from the delay, it's going to go in and play the reverse of our elevator. Let's set the time to about 2 seconds, and we'll wait for that, and then we'll just simply hit compile. And let's try this out. So if I hit play, we'll wait for our cinematic. And it's going to come up here. And then we'll go up. And we'll go in. We'll see the doors open. Come inside here. The doors close right behind us. Nothing's happening. If we hit F, now it's going up. The doors should open for us. and then it's going to allow me to come out. The doors are probably going to stay open. We could set those to a timer to where they closed if we wanted to, but I'm going to go ahead and just leave it the way it is. Again, we're not getting into any major logic. Now, if I go inside and I hit the F key, the elevator should go down. However, something doesn't seem to be right here. Let's go ahead and test to make sure that we have our trigger in the right place. We should be good here. I'm not sure why that's not going up. Let's check our blueprint really quickly. So we have that, and if we press the F key, it goes outside of, let's see, volume 2 enables that. Volume 3, if we touch that, it should enable the input. Go outside of that. Let's see here. We may have to disable the input. Well, nope, that should be good. Enable, disable. Let's check to make sure that the scene is correct. That's not set to movable. Let's do this. Let's select this guy. And I want to see if I can actually see it in game. I just don't know if I have it in the right place. Let's go ahead and open up Matinee for this object. And let's see, let's open that up. Elevator. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to hit play. And it's going to go to the end of that animation. And I just want to see where the elevator is placed. And where the trigger is in this case. And yeah, I mean, it should be fine. Maybe if we lower it down a little bit. It should be fine. I don't understand why that's not doing that. Let's try this one more time. Let's close that down. Let's play. And so come in, press the F key, nothing's happening. Okay, if I press the F key now, elevator should go up. Okay, there we go. If I press the F key again, it should reverse that. Now, a really great way to check things like this, if I hit Shift F1 really quickly, let me go back to my blueprint. Let me tear this off. And so what I should see at this point is if this is at the top, I know what I forgot. Whenever we are at the top of that, we need to set that to true. So that's never being set to true in this case. So let's go ahead and put this up here. I can't believe I forgot this. All right, so we have our condition. By default, it's set to false, but it's never being set to true. And so what I want to do is once the elevator has finished playing, I want it to set that value to true. So we'll take that Boolean variable. We'll drop this out here. Let's try it one more time. Oh, we're still playing. Let me pause that. Let's take our Boolean variable and let me try it one more time. There we go. Drag that out, and we're going to set this, and once it has finished playing that, we're going to set it to true. All right, and then whenever we have played the reverse of the elevator, we want it to set that to true. Whoops, I actually set this in the wrong place. So let's take this, plug that down here, let's set it, and once it's played, okay, meaning it has gone up to the top, it's going to set elevator top to true, and then we're going to do the same thing, but we need to set it back to false. So then we'll plug this in here, and there we go. So now let's compile, let's go in and let's play that. Wait for that cinematic, and there we go. So this should work. So let's go in, we press the F key, you'll notice nothing happens until we go inside. If we press the F key, it goes up, and then we come out. Doors are going to stay open, and if we go back in, we can press the F key, doors close, and then it goes down. Okay, the doors will open, we can move on out. The doors will close, and there we go. So we've created an elevator that works in both directions. Sorry about the delay on that variable there. Sometimes those things, I forget about those. But that is how we can create an elevator working inside of Unreal. Now, it's not the most advanced elevator in the world, but you can get an idea of how to use that logic. Now, up to this point, we have been creating objects that use Matinee, but we really haven't dove into Matinee too much. I want to go ahead and push things a little bit further and just kind of give you some ideas as to what else you can do with Matinee, like controlling lights, controlling sound, and even controlling things like particles. And so we'll kind of start to dive into some of those in the next lesson.